Lib, it's awesome to be here with you today. A lot of people don't know that much about you. Tell me about you.
Sure thing. So I was brought up in Wellington. My father was a fisherman, so they were first generation Italian immigrants, and brought up really with a fishing family. So and my interest in horses really came through him. That was one of his outlets. He was a bit of a weekend warrior, going to Trentham, and he enjoyed his weekend punt, and that's really how I got interested in it, more from the punting side to start with. And then I kind of did that through varsity, and then I actually ended up in a partnership with about 7 horses straight out of varsity. They were all very slow. Gave it away for quite a while, and then in the early 2000s got back into it and got hooked when Paul Moroney bought a filly for us, Clean Sweep, which won the 2000 guineas, and that was it. Hooked again and hasn't stopped since. My background is investment banking and funds management. I went to a broking firm called O'Connor Grieve, and then I joined Lloyd Morrison at a company called Morrison & Co. And that was really my career for about 25 years. Finished with that business in around 2016. And now I'm involved in a few private businesses where I'm a shareholder or a director. And you know, the thoroughbred industry's got a bit more time and investment, so I'm looking to turn this into a business as well. Well, there's nothing quite like the adrenaline rush of winning a Group 1 race or being on track for something like that. But I think it's, you know, my business background is really about risk management and infrastructure, and you know, there's something uniquely unpredictable about racing. You can have the most money, you can pick the best horses, but that doesn't guarantee success. So, you know, there's something, you know, just uncontrollable about it, which I suppose appeals to me. I bought into Blandford in 2014, so that property became 50-50 with Graham. And I didn't really have that many mares at the time, so I had a few mares, but my half of it was really more about adjustment for the racehorses. And that went well, but you know, you retain some fillies and they start having foals, and all of a sudden, you know, we'd probably had too many horses for Blandford. So, you know, I started looking for opportunities to buy a bit more land and do my own thing under my own brand. And, you know, preparation meets opportunity. You know, the Hickmans were looking to exit Valachi, and it just worked out perfect timing for both of us.
And tell me about when he initially said he was looking for somewhere bigger, and Valachi Downs came on the radar and now became Elsdon Park.
I think it was a logical step. It was very timely. He was, obviously the numbers were at a point whereby needed probably diversifying from Blandford. Had the property at the back, but it was going to be a long process to finish development. So, you know, it was a wonderful opportunity, and you know, I mean, Kevin and Joanna, they've just done an amazing job here. We're just, you know, so lucky to be the beneficiaries of it, really.
And I know an important factor about purchasing Valachi was the fact that the infrastructure was done, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So I mean, it's the Hickmans did a wonderful job developing it, and the black block I bought behind Blandford was pretty much undeveloped. So I knew how long it takes to get anything done and how expensive it is. So, you know, the fact that Valachi came up and it's pretty much a finished farm was very appealing. It's, you know, from my perspective, it saves me 2 or 3 years, and it means you've got an existing team, and we were able to get Kerry across to look after the farm, and it's worked out really well.
And Kerry, I guess that's a good point to introduce you, because you've come on board here at Elsdon Park and you bring a lot of knowledge. Tell me about your background and then your role here.
I started off at Waikato Stud, and yeah, I learnt a lot there, and I was very fortunate to, you know, be involved with some amazing horses and to learn from the likes of, you know, Mark and some really influential people there. So, and then, yeah, I was there for 17 years and took a little bit of a break and a bit of a reset, think what I was going to do next. And yeah, I'm fortunate enough to land myself this amazing job here, and yeah, a really exciting opportunity as well, with, you know, building a new business, but with the background of or the foundation, should I say, of an incredible broodmare band that Lib and Bruce have developed over the years, you know. So whilst it is a new name and business, it's obviously under the JML banner, and that's had a huge amount of success over the years. So yeah, I'd like to hope that I bring, you know, something to the table to add, and I'm sure our success will continue and grow. And I mean, that's what we do it for, don't we? We love the animals, and you know, who doesn't enjoy success?
Well, I'd seen a bit of Kerry at obviously through Waikato when she was there, and knew of her, and Bruce obviously had a good relationship with her, and after she left Waikato we probably talked on and off for a while, particularly as I was thinking about my own farm. So we managed to convince her to join, and there were a couple of other, when I sold out of Blandford, a couple of the staff there came with Kerry, and then pretty much took the nucleus of the team that when we bought Valachi, and I think that was part of the appeal for the Hickman family, that you know, we were able to offer most of the staff a job. So it's worked out well. You know, Kerry's very much running the farm, so I'm there more as a sounding board, and at the end of the day I'm a great believer in using specialists. At the end of the day, you know, if I spend a couple of days a month on horses, well, it'll take me 15 years to get the same experience as everyone else on the farm. So I think one of my strengths is I don't kid myself that I know everything about the horse industry. So, you know, the people on the farm know what they're doing, and I'm just trying to help them turn it into a proper business.
We've mentioned Bruce a number of times through this interview, and he's a very significant part of what you've done over the years. Tell me about that relationship and how it started.
Actually, I first met him when on the way home from winning the 2,000 guineas.
I was pretty grumpy because Ambitious Owner, that was owned by the Lambs, he ran second in the 2,000 guineas, and they won it.
I had the clean sweep trophy.
It sort of developed from there.
Gradually got to know him, and then he bought one or two, and he's pretty much been buying horses for me for a long time since, and become a friend.
It's been a long road, but very enjoyable, and had a lot of great times.
You know, it works really well. He's got a phenomenal strike rate for the horses he's bought for me, so it's been a good relationship.
How does it work when he's purchasing horses for you? How involved are you in the purchases, and I guess now matings? How involved are you in the matings here on the farm?
Look, I leave it to the experts for the most part. I have a little bit of a say. I've got a few favourites I might have a say in, but you know, at the end of the day, Bruce and Kerry are I'd say they're both breeders on type. So, you know, and we want to take horses to sales that look like race horses. So a lot of it's about type, and they're the ones that are best positioned to make those calls.
Elsdon Park, obviously a new name on the breeding scene here in New Zealand. Tell me the sort of thinking behind the name.
Well, I suppose most people would have thought I'd try do an Italian name of some sort, but Elsdon is actually a suburb of Pororua in Wellington,
okay.
Where my wife was brought up. So we named it Elsdon, and it became Elsdon Park pretty quickly. So that's the background.
The property here, tell me about that, the size of it, and how many horses you have here at the moment.
Yep, so the farm's about 450 acres, and then we have another block of around 200 acres just behind Blandford, which is mostly beef for now. But it's about 450 acres. There's a lot of beef on the property as well, but there's about 70 mares, and I've got about 40 to 45, and the rest of them are friends, family that are associated with the farm or with Bruce or Kerry. You
talk about some of the successes you've had over your time within racing. Is there a moment for you that stands out as being a best in the industry?
Yeah, that's a pretty easy one to answer that. That would really be Lucia Valentina and Sophia Rosa, both winning Group 1s at Randwick, and I was on course with a few mates, and Bruce was there as well. So that was a pretty special day to go there and take 2 Group 1s off the Aussies. Yeah. It was pretty cool. I
mentioned at the start of the interview we don't know that much about you, and we don't see you at the races all that often considering the amount of horses you have. What does a typical Saturday afternoon look like for you?
Well, growing up it was mostly on the sports field with children, so our children are now 19 or between 14 and 19, so it's really just in the last few years, you know, they bring themselves to activities and whatever, so most of it was around weekend sports, and having the phone handy to watch the odd race. But now I'll sit down and watch the races. You know, if I've got something going around on the weekend, for sure.
What keeps you motivated? Because no doubt you've got enough on your plate as it is, but what keeps you motivated to keep expanding within the racing industry?
I like the thrill of winning, really, and I think you get that out of the thoroughbred business. I mean, I come at it from a racing angle, and the thrill of that. But you know, I'd like to think we can. We've got a nice broodmare band, shares in some good stallions. We've got wonderful facilities, great staff, so we should be able to produce some really nice horses.
Do you still call it a hobby of yours, or has it gone a little bit past that?
It's gone well past a hobby, so it's a business now, and you know, we've got 16 going to K1 this year, and for the next few years we will sell what we produce, but no, we need to make it a viable business, and at the end of the day, the buyers have got to have confidence in what we sell, and that we're bringing our best product to market.
What's sort of the future aspirations for Elsdon Park? Where do you see it in 5 or 10 years' time?
I think for the next 2 or 3 years, it's really about, you know, continuing to improve the broodmare band. We've got some nice stock, and you know, I take shares in a lot of the Waikato stallions, so we work a lot with Waikato. But I think, you know, over 4 or 5 years, if we manage to race a nice colt, it'd be nice to think we could stand a stallion one day over the next few years. Certainly not in the next couple, but I'd like to do that. I think there's an opportunity to create, you know, the full service business over time.